Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm very excited about today's video because we are going to go over my 2026 vision board. I did post during Vlogmas my vision board for last year, and we kind of went over why I picked what I picked and where things had ended up. When I made my vision board, I didn't know I was pregnant, so last year kind of got a little wonky on me. But I am really excited for this year because obviously I'm not pregnant anymore. My son is here, and this is the first year where I'm going to be working from home, not pregnant, part-time, and I just feel like sky is the limit. I mean, this is like before I was working full-time and I was just kind of drained and everything like that, and now I just feel like this is just such an opportunity for me. I feel so lucky, so grateful that I had this part-time opportunity, that I have billable hours, so I have a lot of flexibility. So I feel like I just need to leverage that in every way. Like, I can be there for my son, and when he takes his naps or when my husband's around, I can really push myself and go for my goals. So it's not lost on me that I have this opportunity to work from home and that it's part-time. So I really just want to jump into 2026 and make the most out of it. My energy has definitely rebounded since being pregnant. I had my son September 16th, so it's been a couple months. I had a C-section. I feel recovered from that. I never really struggled with my energy unless in postpartum. Just leading up, I had my baby was 11 pounds 5 ounces or 6 ounces, something like that. So the last few weeks were really hard for me, but ever since, like, literally as soon as they pulled him out, I've already felt new. I felt the weight and pressure of him coming out of my stomach, relief. So I'm just really excited for the new year. But this is already going to be a really chatty video, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. And instead of popping up little pictures on the screen, I wanted to actually just kind of hold up my board and point to things. So this is the board that I used last year. This is a frame that I found on clearance at Michael's a couple years ago, and I have just been using it ever since. It's literally, this is my last year one. I just used the back of the poster board that I cut out and stuck in it, and then I just pop it in. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So the first one I have here is the redwood trees. I really have always wanted to see those, and my husband has family not super close, but just like in Northern California, and I thought it would just be like a easy getting used to traveling with the baby kind of trip, where we could push him in the stroller around the national park. It was still in the States. It's not a terribly long flight. So I thought this would be a good tester trip to go do that. So that's one of the things on the vision board. And then I've been wanting to do a cruise. I did one a few years ago, and I just been thinking about being back out at the sea again. It was so incredible to just be out there and to look out, and you just can't see anything. And we were lucky enough to have the water be really still and glassy one of the days, and it just felt like we were almost in a heaven-like place. It was just so incredibly beautiful. I would love to experience that again. That was over in Florida though. I've done a Florida and Alaskan one. Both of those were incredible. I'm over in the Las Vegas area, so I think I want to try doing one out of LA and do like a Mexico cruise, because they're very reasonable price, and that's, I think, going to be our first trip of the year. No, our first trip of the year is going to be Disneyland in February. And then after that, that'll be like a good road trip, testing the waters with the baby, and then literally go test the waters with the baby when it warms up a little bit, and take him to see the sand and the beach for the first time. So moving along here, I have 4,000 watch hours. So I finally reached 1,000 subscribers. It took me a couple of years to do that. Again, I was pregnant and I was really shy about wanting to be on camera, but I think I started being on camera around May last year. So it's been less than a year of me being on camera to hit that goal, which feels reassuring. Sorry, I'm like wiggling around because I'm trying to make room for all this. And then I have a picture of Paris here. And this is why I'm talking really quickly, because I have a lot to go through and some of these need a longer explanation. But so the Paris thing to me is a symbol. Like, I've already been to Paris and we've gone to Paris Disney, which is great. But one of the things that I really want to do is make money online and for myself. My husband works blue collar, and honestly, he's just blue collar through and through. I like tried to get him to like do businesses and things like that, and it's just not his personality. He just doesn't have like the type A personality like me to try to want to do things like that. He just finds comfort in the 9 to 5, and rightly so, especially now that we have our son and I'm working part-time. He likes the stability and knowing that he can go to work and provide for us. And before it was frustrating to me, but now I completely understand it, and it makes sense to me. And especially with our son, like the health insurance and things like that, like the stability is definitely really nice. But now that I've gotten to a place where I have my son, we purchased our second home, so I don't know if this is our forever home. If it ends up being our forever home, I think I could be okay with that. I'm happy with our lot. We have a good sized backyard now. Have a walk-in pantry. I do wish there was like maybe like one more room. We have a 3-bedroom house. So we have our son's nursery and then the primary and then a spare room. And I wish the living room was a little bit bigger. I think I could maybe host comfortably, like actually comfortably, maybe like 6 or 7 people. And now that I'm in a place in life where everybody's having kids and aunts and uncles and things like that, I would prefer a space I could host 10 to 15, and the home I have now is just not possible. We do have a backyard that would very comfortably host that many, so we're looking at trying to do something to our backyard that would allow us to be able to host when the weather is nice, and looking at other options maybe for a Nevada room or a patio extension where I could put like a longer dining table, and that could be like the central area for hosting. But that's like way in the future. But all that to say is I kind of feel like in a lot of ways I've arrived. Like, I am working part-time for a nonprofit. I feel very satisfied and fulfilled by that. I feel very fulfilled by taking care of my home and taking care of my son and being present with him. I feel just, I don't know, as like these, not that this is getting difficult, but it's just like, I've never been somebody who wants to be a millionaire. I've never, I don't need $10 million. I always said if I was like Elon Musk or something like that, I would like be restoring old architecture. Like, I wouldn't be out buying a yacht. That's just like, I don't know, maybe it takes having that much money to understand why people do like that, but I don't know. So for me, it's like, I'm not chasing money. I'm not chasing a Mercedes. I'm not really, and because I'm not chasing those things, I'm not chasing this like 6-figure salary. I'm not chasing all that money. So for me, that's why I really wanted to start taking YouTube seriously, is I feel like what I'm chasing now is flexibility and freedom. And that's why I want to try to make this much money a month by myself, because this would be like the minimum amount of money that if I can make that on my own, like I could take care, because we made a decent amount of money on our first home. We put it down on our new house. So our bills are not unreasonable. And this includes things like entertainment and things like that. Or if I can make that doing YouTube and doing selling a few things online and testing the waters with some stuff, then I could go somewhere and be like, hey babe, let's go to Japan for a few weeks. Like, last time we went to Japan, we were just kind of scurrying around and we didn't really soak it in. Or I've done trips where like we've gone to Paris and we've gone to Rome and we only stayed in those areas because I just wanted to be peaceful and be in those areas. Like, I've had friends who I actually ran into friends in Rome, and they were only in Rome for one day. And then they went to Pisa, and then they went to Venice, and then, you know, all those places in one day, which is a blessing in itself, but that's not the pace I want to like operate at. So I feel like if I can start doing this on my own in a way that allows for freedom, then I can start going to these places in adventure. And I feel like I'm not striving to be a millionaire. I'm not striving to get a Mercedes. I'm not doing those crazy things. I think what I'm striving for is like this comfortable pace of adventure and taking my son and taking in all these cultures. So that was really long-winded, but that's like what this represents, and that's kind of doubles down for this, is like being able to go, I'm going to go to Europe for 3 weeks this year, and then maybe later that year I'm going to go spend 2 or 3 weeks in Florida. That's what these things are representing. So super long-winded. I want to stretch and be more flexible. I just kind of, I'm still decently flexible from when I play tennis, but I just want to get back to it because my back and everything with the baby has kind of been struggling. So just like strength and being flexible. This is a laundry room because we got new machines, but I want to go up there and get the wallpaper done and get all the shelving done. A big goal for me in 2026 is I basically finished most of the downstairs of my house, and I want to finish most of the upstairs in 2026. And that way the house is kind of done, it's taken care of, you know, it's decorated. I'm not living in a construction zone like I did in my last house for years and years and years. It just looks pretty. I can have people over, everything's organized, and I cannot spend money on the house. Like I'm always, in our last house, we were, you know, a couple months we'd be buying flooring, and then a few months later we'd buy a couch, and then a few months later we needed new cabinets, and a few months later we needed this and we needed that, which is fine because I love home decor. I love my home. It's the number one thing I'd love to spend money on, so it doesn't bother me. But I'm just, because we did that for 5 years in our last house and now we've been here for a year, I'm ready to kind of like move on with our budget, you know, and be settled and do things like grow our retirement and do things like this. You know, I love this and I will do this until it's done, but I'm just ready for it to be settled and live peaceful in my home. And then, you know, in a few years we can switch something up and go back to maybe spending on it or doing something fun in the backyard or something like that. So, and then the video editing represents two things: me getting better at editing, and then I think I want to actually inquire about one on Fiverr, because I think that's a long-term goal, is just me being over here and sending footage out to somebody and then having them put it together for me. I think I could spend years and years trying to develop my video editing skills and have my own style, but you know, there's people out there who really specialize in it, and it would free up a lot of my time. I think if I was in my 20s and I didn't have my son and I could spend, you know, 5 or 6 hours sitting down editing a video, I would do that. But for me, I just view it now as, you know, every hour I'm on my computer is another hour I'm not spending time with my son and interacting with him. So I just don't value that anymore. Now I'm going to learn, because I do have to be able to afford this, and because I am still doing this stuff, I don't have quite as much now that I'm working part-time to do stuff like this. So part of that is me learning, and part of me is, okay, for this video, I think this could be something, let me send it out to an editor and get that done. So I want to at least do maybe 1 a quarter with a video editor. So 4 videos that are edited by somebody this year, I think is definitely a reasonable goal. And then this one here is I want to start a recipe book, which I spent New Year's working on when we were just sitting on the couch relaxing. Unfortunately, it was rainy here in Vegas, so we didn't go out or really busy ourselves with the fireworks. So I just spent the time getting a jump start on my vision board. This here is a books. This represents me kind of getting into literature a little bit more. Starting with classical books. I was homeschooled, so some of the reading requirements were not, I did do homeschooling with the state. It wasn't like strictly done by my mom, so this isn't like on my mom or anything. But I just feel like I never went down that road. Like I hear people talk about books or things like that, and I'm just kind of not in on the culture. And I actually do like to stay like aware of like popular culture, like TikTok and trends and things like that. I find it fun, and I think there's more to popular culture than what's happening right now. you know, classic books and things like that that were popular in the past, or are just well-known movies and things like that. I want to, you know, I want to know about it. I think you can learn a lot from them. So the first book I chose was Pride and Prejudice, and I'm really enjoying it. And we're also kind of watching the movies, and we'll go and watch like YouTube videos about it as well to like really deep dive in it. So we've only started with Pride and Prejudice. I watched the BBC TV shows, and I'm about halfway through the book. And I think I've seen the one with Keira Knightley, the movie, but I might rewatch it. And then I have a whole list of other ones, and I'm going to make another video, so subscribe. I'm making a poster of my 2026 library. So if you're curious about that, subscribe and check out that video. Hopefully that will be up. I think that's going to be a bonus Sunday video. I think right now my posting schedule is going to be on Fridays, and I have a schedule of content for that. And then I'm leaving Sundays open for bonus videos when I have an idea and I'm excited about it, and I'll go ahead and post that as an extra video on Sundays. I want to work on digital products, so this kind of goes into this stuff here. I want to diversify my income streams. Like, I don't want to just focus on YouTube. I don't want to just focus on my remote job. I want to have a couple channels coming in, because it's a big responsibility to have my husband quit his job one day. So I want to have a few things coming in where I know the health insurance on our own is probably going to be expensive and things like that. So not just relying on one avenue of income, but trying to set myself up with multiple things that could grow and participate in helping us achieve our goals. I want to be grateful. I already talked about how I feel really grateful to be a part-time work from home mom. But just continue to be grateful for what I have. I know vision boards can make us really ambitious for things that we want, but I also want to be sure that I'm reminding myself that I'm grateful for what I have. I would like a house with a larger living room, 10 or 10 more people, but I'm happy with the house that I have, and I'm grateful for it. You know, I would like to get a new car in a couple years. Mine's coming up on 10 years old. But if I can take care of it and maintain it, and that's not in the cards for me, I'm grateful for my car that I have and that it's lasted this long. I'm grateful for my husband and my family and my son and everything that I do have. So that's just a reminder. I try to put on my board almost every year. And then I think I already talked about the 6,000 a month, so I'm gonna hop across here. This is an outdoor theater. We have a giant retaining wall in our backyard. So I would like to do that outside to entertain. I hosted my work friends for Christmas, and it was just like a girls' night, but I would like to open it up for everybody in spring, summer. So maybe trying to do something in the backyard, because it's already January now. That this goal is already feeling a little bit crazy. It's like only a few months away. So maybe if it's just by the end of the year, and we can get something going next year. This is at-home workout, so I'm kind of just done with attempting to go to the gym. You know, if I wasn't doing it when I was in my 20s and had free time, I'm definitely not doing it now, where I'm trying to achieve all my goals and be a mom and work from home. So I just decided that I'm going to come up with an at-home workout routine that works for me, and I'm going to stop trying to go to the gym and spend money and then not do it. This one here plays into this one. So one of the rooms that we need to finish in the house is the primary bedroom, and we'll get into that because that's going to be a whole video on its own. But again, it's just the idea of getting my house taken care of so I can move on with my budget. This represents spending time with friends. So in previous years, I think for 8 years I worked in sales, and I just didn't have the emotional capacity to spend time with people. I was talking to people all day, every day. I was introducing myself to strangers all day, every day. And for me, as a quiet, shy person, I had learned to do those things and learn to be on. And when 5 o'clock hit, I was just done. I was emotionally and mentally exhausted from talking and forcing conversation and smiling and be like, yeah, blah, 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 like doing the whole sales thing. That when, 5 o'clock hit or the weekend hit, I was just wanting to be really peaceful and be quiet and be with my husband and go to lunch, and that was pretty much it. But Now that I'm working from home, I'm a little bit more isolated. I have a little bit more emotional capacity for it. I want to be sure that I'm reaching out to people and connecting, and I'm not just isolating myself with just me and my baby in my house all day. So that's been put on there for that. So this is the retirement. We already have my husband's 401k and some other things set aside, but I really want to just start growing like a good size savings, because that's going to play into making this a safer decision, and getting away from spending on this and really focusing on this now that we're in our 30s and my husband's 36. Consistent is really connected with this and this. You know, you can't just feel like doing this for a week or two and then give up a month or two and then come back and do it again. Like with YouTube, you really need to show up and be present and build a community. So that's what that's for. Organic for me just represents making better decisions. I'm about to make another video regarding products with plastic, so stay tuned for that and subscribe. But making better choices where you can and where it makes sense. It doesn't necessarily have to be organic, but just better for you options. And, you know, instead of chicken nuggets or soda, you know, picking something else that makes a little bit more sense, or better quality products instead of just like the cheapest possible great value option. Self-care. I really, just because I am doing social media stuff now, I really want to have like a skincare routine and just keep up on my nails and just looking presentable. And I think that's just a good thing to do as a new mom anyway, because you can, as I've seen, I am still new to it and I'm fighting against it, but I've seen a lot of moms talk about how they get buried in just focusing on their child and keeping the house together and things like that, and they kind of lose themselves a little bit. So I want to make it a point where I keep myself together. So that's where the self-care comes in. Believe is just believing that all of this is possible, that I can get the house done this year, I can do 4,000 watch hours, I can do the books. Like, my vision is possible, and I just got to believe and trust the process. This is part of the house as well. I really want to get my desk finished, set up. So far I've done the entry closet, the entryway, the entry powder bath. I'm mostly done with the living room, and I'm just about ready to move on to my desk, which is going to be behind the couch. So that's what that represents. That will be a YouTube video as well. So these are storage bins with names on it. This represents for me making bins of memories for my son's stuff. So there's just some of like a couple of his Halloween outfits and a Christmas outfit and his binky and his photos and things like that, where I want to get a jump start early. I don't want to have to backtrack and try to scramble to get all this stuff together. And I also mean this digitally as well. I want to create a digital album. You know, 18 years from now, I don't want to have to look at my phone and be like, oh gosh, like I gotta scroll back 18 years of photos and put stuff together for him. So that's just me getting things together for my son, for keepsakes, for myself, and for him. This is a photo of my patent pending bag. This is a photo of it on the Disneyland shelf. That is my dream. If that could ever happen, I want to start getting back to working on my bags. I could end up talking about this for an hour, so I'm just going to say what that represents. And if anybody has questions, definitely post a comment below. This cup represents me tightening up our budget. So I decided in the new year, I'm not buying drinks at restaurants. This is going to be attached at my hip. It'll have water or unsweet tea in it, and that is what I will be drinking. You know, I need to make $6,000, but if I can also just save money where it makes sense, then I'm going to do that to help me get to that goal sooner. Content. Again, content and grateful for me are just, you have enough, you are enough. And all of this is just ambition now. Like, you don't have, you can shut down, you can have a night off, you can just sit there with your baby in your arms, you can just spend time with your husband, and that's enough. You have what you need. So that's what that represents for me. determined kind of goes into the YouTube thing, because sometimes when I get a video that doesn't do really well, it takes a lot of determination to be like, that's okay, pick yourself back up, let's do another idea. So that's what that represents. And then I've been on a jewelry kick lately, so I really want a vintage watch because I don't do my Apple Watch anymore. I didn't appreciate having the notifications on my wrist. So I switched to Oura Ring, and so now that frees me up to actually have a watch. So I put that. I usually put like 1 or 2 like actual physical little pretty things on my board just to kind of strive for. And being present, that mostly represents with my son. Sometimes when he's feeding and things like that, I want to watch TV or be on my phone, but I really am trying to focus on just making eye contact with him and being present and being focused and making these like mental memories of in my head of what he feels like and what he looks like and the looks on his face. I really just want that imprinted in my mind. So that's what being present represents for me. And I'm sorry if I was talking really fast. I wanted this video to be under half an hour, which I did it. We're at 26 minutes as I'm starting to wrap up. If you hear the baby in the background, that's not cause for concern. He is with my husband. But this is my 2026 vision board. I'm really proud of it. I'm really excited. I think 2026 is going to be a really special year for me. Like I said, I just feel so free to explore and to work on goals that I didn't even think were possible until I was like retired or anything like that. So yeah, I'm feeling really grateful. I'm feeling really excited for the new year. I would love it if you guys commented below maybe one of your visions that you're most excited about for the new year, how you're feeling about 2026. Does it have good vibes? Does it have bad vibes for you? What are you feeling? What do you think's in? What do you think is out? I would love a chat down in the comments. But with that being said, please subscribe because I have a few videos I'm working on and I'm really excited about them. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.